The wonderful thing about doing something online is that somebody will always tell you if you got something wrong, even if you were right. But having received so many comments on my recent sounds video telling me I was wrong about this or I'd forgotten that, it doesn't even matter one way or the other anymore. People need clarification. So let's begin. Planted bombs beep. The beeping sound they make depends on whether they're planted at bomb site A or on bomb site B. Here is a comparison. I didn't bother covering this at all in the previous video because it's not exactly the sound that a player makes, is it? And to be honest, I thought everyone knew this already, but it seems like many people haven't even noticed. I covered this change to the beeping sounds almost 4.5 years ago in this video, in August 2018. I suspect what caused this change was when, in a pro match just before the change occurred, Team Liquid lost a round when they accidentally went to the wrong bomb site on Nuke. When even the pros are being thwarted by CSGO's audio, you know that something needs changing, and so slightly different bomb beeping sounds were introduced as yet another attempt by Valve to try and clear up confusion on a very confusing map. One comment that I received thought that a bomb being dropped and rolled along the floor couldn't be heard by CTs. Here's what I think to that. And this. CTs can hear the bomb being dropped and rolled. So please stop dropping the bomb everywhere for somebody else to carry. It can also be heard being picked up, but only if the terrorist picking it up is running at the time. So it's the same rules as picking up weapons then. As for masking the sound of diffuses, yes, you can hide it by detonating a grenade at the same time. Or by firing a weapon. Or by smoking a Molotov. Thanks for that, Walter. But the diffusing noise is still being made. It's simply being masked by a louder sound. That doesn't just apply to the diffuse sound. Many sounds in this game can be concealed by louder ones, but testing all the different combinations of this is one of those things that's probably just as boring for me to test as it is for you to watch. This one suggests I could test the distance that every sound can be heard from, which could actually be a future video of mine, because it sounds really boring, yet might be surprisingly fun to watch as you're in the shower or chowing down on your 7th tin of beans for the day. But all in good time. Let's figure out which sounds can be heard first. Does picking up grenades make a noise? Yes, but again, only if you're running at the time. To be more technical with this, it's not about running or walking. It's more a matter of if you can hear footsteps, then you'll also hear when things are being picked up. Have the walk or crouch key pressed as you're picking things up to ensure silence. According to comments, you can hear the pins being pulled out from flash grenades. But I can assure you this isn't the case. Here's an example. And here it is amplified just to make sure. But what if you're on the same team as somebody who is pulling a pin? Nope, still nothing. But what about spectating? Nope, still nothing. Not until you're in the first person view, and then you can finally hear the sounds. But by then you're practically inside that person, so you'd expect to hear them pulling on it, wouldn't you? The only grenade that enemies can hear being primed is the Molotov, which does that fiery sound, as covered in my first video. There is, however, a bug with grenades. If you throw one but quickly switch to another item before it's really thrown, then it will play a shuffly sound, which can be heard by enemies. Hear it for yourself. Do different grenades make different sounds when bouncing off walls? And this might surprise you, because all grenades sound different from one another, apart from the decoy, which sounds the same as the flashbang. Might as well start with those. The smoke grenade is like a triple bluff, because it uses a different sound file to the flashes, but that sound file is exactly the same. But also not. Listen carefully. And now the flashes. And if I alternate between the two, the difference becomes more obvious. Yes, the smoke is louder. I think here we've discovered another bug, because it seems like the smoke grenade is playing two different bounce sounds. Sometimes they're slightly out of sync, like this. But other times they're in sync. And I suppose the two...
Fuck. No. It's not that. Nice. They basically fucking rammed each other, so we both fucking failed. Let's see what possible.
Two different sound files combined to sound louder than were there just one bounce sound being played. Valve, please fix? Moving on to the other grenade types, the Molotov is made of glass, and so its bounce sound is unique. It doesn't have its own bounce sound, it's simply reusing an older glass sound effect from Source's archives. But the incendiary grenade sounds unique as well, because it's the only grenade to use the high explosive grenade's bounce sound in conjunction with a fiery sound. And I noticed the double bounce bug here as well. Valve, please fix. And last, the HE grenades sound like the incendiary grenades, but without their so it did surprise me a bit to discover how many different variations of bounce sounds there are in Counter-Strike. A few people pointed out Djibouti was a silent way to move. Just like the sand walking from June, it's too silly to justify. All it is that your character doesn't reach the velocity required to start making footsteps. In theory, you could master the art of tapping the movement buttons to get the most velocity possible before this sound effect kicks in. But in reality, unless you have an analog keyboard, this isn't too practical, and the walk button is a much better and more reliable bet if you want to move silently. Can enemies hear the click of an empty gun when you're trying to shoot with no ammo? Yes. Compared with firing bullets, it's not quite so loud, and is in fact loudest when closest to their feet. And it's surprisingly difficult to do, what with Counter-Strike's automatic reloading whenever you have an empty weapon equipped. I feel like the reloading animation is more likely to give away that your gun is empty. The revolver's click, as it's charging up to fire, can be heard by enemies, so be careful with that. I was asked to see if the XM1014 made any sounds when switching and stuff, but I couldn't find anything unusual. What if weapons are dropped onto higher surfaces? Now this is harder to do than it sounds. I guess this was asked following on from how I said there's no landing sound if you land on something higher than where you started from. But in my limited testing on this topic, they still made a sound, even when landing higher up from where they started. I could have gone to the effort of making a custom map to test this super specific and irrelevant thing that nobody really cares about. Here it is. You hear that? No, you don't.
Holy shit.
TCS Energy Pro. Yes, it has an acronym because it's a fully
God.
because when it only narrowly scrapes over the top of a higher object, all you can hear is the scraping sound, and not the impact one. That there is a height of 128 units, or the standard height for a Counter-Strike texture, /interior wall, /2 crates, /18 bananas. Can the AUG and SG be heard being scoped? Yes. Just like I said in the last video, scoped weapons can be heard scoping in. People love to use the word forgot when telling me I didn't feature something, when really, it would just take too long to show every combination of every sound. It could be that I've missed a few exceptions, but unless you have proof, please don't ask me to investigate all of them. Interestingly, while he's scoping in and out, you can see the character's model physically vibrating a bit as he's doing this, but only if he's moving at the time. So it does mean you could give away that you're scoping or unscoping even from beyond the audible range. But then, what use does that have? If you see an enemy, it doesn't matter if they're scoping in or out. You shoot them, don't you? And finally, you can hear enemies using spray paint. Pay to lose. Sometimes I wonder how I did it. I look at that sound video I made in 2015 with 1.4 million views and a positive reception, and I think, wow, 2015 Freakless Philip really thought of everything. He didn't. I just did a solid job at a task that few people knew about and attempted back then. But modern day CSGO is a different beast. The standard of play is much higher and people expect more. It isn't enough to have a video covering lots of the sounds that you can hear. People want all of the sounds, all of the quirks and all of the exploits. I do just feel that 2023 CSGO on YouTube is a very different beast from how it was 8 years ago. And I'll do my best to keep up.
Welcome to show business. Nothing but make-believe will ever feel quite real again.
Tragedy, pathos, tedium, I'm bored.
Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar, and wild stuff indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, I know a lot's been going on, but today I wanted to really also bring up Google into the entire spotlight. Now, I like Google and YouTube, cool companies, alright, and they'll definitely make some cool products. YouTube has a pretty wild age restriction, demonetization censor bot, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes it can be too liberal. But you know what isn't liberal on YouTube? It's the goddamn Google ad system. In fact, the Google ad system is one of those vectors for actually attacking YouTubers. Now, what do I mean by that? It's a pretty bold claim. Now, in the last several months, years even, plenty of YouTubers have gotten hacked in high-profile situations. Accounts hijacked by crypto scammers, Elon Musk pushers, you name it. But at the end of the day, alright, I've asked a lot of YouTubers how they ended up getting hacked. Now, generally it used to be, hey, I got a sponsor email, I clicked on a link, and lo and behold, a day later I got my account hacked. Because they clicked on a link that led them to a website that extracted some credentials. But today, I'm going to show you a hack that exists right there on Google's homepage. So allow me to explain just what's going on. Now, in the Google ad system, anybody can go in and basically put up and put for sale anything, advertise their product, and send it out to people with specific reaches. Now, yesterday I was setting up a different system for editing work, and one of the softwares that I downloaded was OBS. OBS is a software that most YouTubers use. A lot of YouTubers, a lot of streamers use this software to, again, live stream or broadcast themselves to Twitch, YouTube, whatever you want to call it. But, of course, to download the software, you typically would go onto Google and you would type in what? OBS download? Well, I typed in OBS download and got this shenanigan tossed at me. Now, initially in this page, you can see that I'm pretty shocked for a different reason. But here you can see that this is OBS streamsvive.site. Now, this is an ad, which means apparently, according to YouTube systems, Google systems, they just pushed this on top of the 180 million search results. Now, the real link is the one just below, obsproject.com.
What the
Now,
fuck?
to the average person who isn't paying attention, you might click the first one, because I did. I clicked the first one and almost downloaded Redline
like
Stealer
Game Street
malware onto a
crashes.
system. Of course, I
Right.
virtualize, I keep my things separate, just because of this situation. Now, however, most YouTubers typically just have one computer they work off of, right? And if you downloaded this to your main computer with your YouTube signed in, your Twitter signed in, everything, well, congratulations. Those credentials just got swiped by a bunch of hacking scumbags. So to show you what's going on over here, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to open up both these links just to show you exactly what's this up, if I click OBS streams vive.site, again, the URLs are dead giveaways. The only reason I picked this up was because of the URL. I'm going to rapidly switch between both things, and I'm going to show you, no matter what, aside from the URL change, these are the same exact sites. They grab the site and they're phishing people into downloading this link. Now, of course, when you download that specific piece of malware, to show you how dangerous things are right now, if I take this piece of malware, which is right here, OBS Studio 28.12, with this weird about folder filled with ADMX files, if I right-click this and just run it through Windows Defender, which is a pretty good antivirus software, it will give me no threats. And the reality is, this is malware that is so new right now that the definitions haven't been spread around between a lot of antivirus services, so everybody can be notified. Again, you can't 100% trust your antivirus. They're not filled with magical tools that can scan every file so deeply. They check heuristics, they check everything, but typically you need definitions, and those definitions get updated every day, and they let every other piece of antivirus software around the world know what to look for. Now we're going to use a piece of website service known as VirusTotal. You've seen it before on the channel. We're going to run this through every engine and show you exactly how dangerous things are getting. So if I take OBS right here, which is the actual installer, the actual OBS project, I drop this in, and then I drop this malware folder into it as well, you're going to see some key differences. For instance, the original OBS trips nothing. This is a completely clean virgin file. What doesn't trip the same is this one right here. This is the malware file containing Redline malware, okay? Reline, Redline, whatever you want to call it. Only 2 out of 60 AV engines just got triggered. So to understand what's going on, let's open this up and show you exactly how bad this malware can get. So we're going to open up OBS Studio. We're going to extract this right here. This is what the actual extracted file looks like. Again, you can see the icons are different, so it's not perfectly accurate. But if you actually open it up, you'll see that this is nearly a gigabyte in size, 844 megabytes. So typically they were compressing this down. It's still a lot of junk crap. But if you look into it, you can see that it's web compliant setup, and the company is Mango Trash. Again, who's Mango Trash? It doesn't matter because it's malware. If you open it up, you can see that it actually starts, deploys the malware in the system, then it starts the OBS Studio setup. So again, people who are running this actually get the software that they want, right? So let's say that somebody downloaded OBS, right? They're like, oh, cool, I got the software, I can do what I want to, blah, blah, blah. But alongside the software, they just installed Redline Stealer malware that's extracting all of their credentials. So let's actually look through what Redline Stealer does. Okay, if we open up a Redline Stealer crack, which is the panel that you can just see for demonstration's sake, it starts off, and again, things have changed. This is a panel from like 2021. You can see that they can build these malwares for anybody, and they can then distribute them. And what they're looking for is passwords, cookies, autofills, credit cards, files, anything in the end.
season them. Fucking bitch. What the fuck?
You are a bitch! For fuck's sake!
What's up, Trevor? You're taking cover? Okay.
You know, Capitan, there is no law against being drunk in charge of a submarine. I just thought I would mention it. Goodbye.
I knew it! That's some other guy. 3 in a row. You guys are killing me right now. I'm gonna go cry in a corner with my KD.
I'm sorry. Ó, tem um maluco aí, 395. Tem um 4. Por do comando. Command follow.
Dude, your microphone is on.
Alright, let's go. Pero un coche bueno. Bien. $100 americanos. Arriba, abajo, al centro y adentro.
Eu vou te parar.
Stop. The gameplay.
Tá em que posição?
40. Pole position. Whoa!
Era você, né?
Yes. I am.
Cheguei no carro aqui, seria bom pra das corridas, acaba dando mais.
Oh God.
Quantos golpes?
Não sei.
Então acho que tinha uma ou duas só. Ah, não, checkpoint só. Quero uma de moto, que aí aparece mais gente.
Mud people.
Uhum.
What's your position?
Okay.
What's your position?
Caralho. 30.
Oh, fuck.
Os malucos pararam de falar. Qual que tava falando, né? Acho que era o que tem maior nível ali, né? Acho que é o 295, eu acho.
Yes.
He's good enough for an idea. gotta keep it by Nice. One mistake and he fucked it. You know.
Yeah, just enjoy it. Juggling is probably one of the most rewarding hobbies I've ever done. Per hour, I think it's going to be more fun than Counter-Strike. I haven't done it for as many hours as I've played Counter-Strike, but I think it's a lot more impressive. No one's impressed with your Counter-Strike ability. Even if you're really good, you just end up... people hate you.
And then
How does you get a better acceleration?
Ah, you have one of the new HEV suits. That should be very useful. Fine. You won't even know I'm here.
want to see if it's modded entirely or not. Probably not.
Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? Armored vehicles, much faster, takes around 8 to 9 shots from the Khanjali to take out an acid lab, and you hit an acid lab with this thing, it's gonna flip. Now obviously I'm...
You need something, huh? One of your rides? Let me know. It's coming at you. Okay, I got stuff to do.
What brings you in today? That should do the trick. La cucaracha, but it'll do. Now that's gonna be a smooth ride.
I'm on the clock. What you want? Some wheels? It's on the way. I'll get back to it then.
What can the best mechanic in LS do for you? That's a horn, and you bought it. That's a beauty right there.
I'm saying this for self-defense reasons. I don't encourage anybody to just go out and start killing other players with this for no reason, but this thing is very helpful for taking out other armored vehicles, especially when players are in it. The downside of it is it's slow. You're gonna have to spawn it with your mechanic, or if it's already your default vehicle, you can spawn it with the interaction. Then it's gonna take you a little bit of time to get to the person. But what I find the most useful for is in missions. Like right here, right off, this is actually one of the worst, Dax mission. And this mission you actually can't really use an air vehicle. If you use an air vehicle, the SAM system is going to automatically blow you up. Khanjali, on the other hand, you can just drive in here and you can take these guys out, no problem. Makes it very easy. On top of that, the Khanjali can also drop mines. So if you're being chased, you can drop mines, take out anything behind you, and the second person, and it can actually control a remote-controlled machine gun, and the remote-controlled machine gun is actually very effective. But when it comes down to it, it's a very effective armored vehicle, takes a bunch of explosives that any solo player can use to clear out an area. Very effective for missions, very effective for clearing out cops and other hostile NPCs. It can't be used on certain missions like certain heists and certain missions that you spawn in, but generally in free mode, you can pretty much use it everywhere that you want for whatever mission in free mode. The Khanjali is also at a price of $3,850,350 normally, but you can get it for a trade price of $2,895,000. It is actually complete factory. The downside of it, but the biggest downside of it, is that you do need to own the facility in order to use it. But I'm telling you, it's worth it. This is a vehicle that everyone should definitely own. It's very helpful. Next at number 4, we have any Imani Tech vehicle. Now, there's a bunch of different Imani Tech vehicles. I'm not going to argue over which one is the best one because I can see that so many people are going to have a different opinion. But I will say that to get at least one Imani Tech vehicle and make it kind of like your go-to vehicle that you use to drive around the map, because a lot of the Imani Tech vehicles are very fast, and basically the main difference between them and a lot of other cars in the game is that many of the Imani Tech vehicles, they actually do have temporary bulletproof windows, like you see right here. I think that the only ones actually don't have the bulletproof windows are the Bravado Greenwood and the Obey Omnis. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but most of them have bulletproof windows. Most importantly, they have the Imani Tech. And the Amani Tech, you have the RC controls. The RC controls where you can basically turn a vehicle into an RC vehicle, driving it around, actually being inside it. I don't find that helpful. What I do find extremely helpful is the missile lock-on jammer. Now, the missile lock-on jammer, this will help you out so much. And every single Amani Tech vehicle takes around 12 homing missiles. And so you guys can see right here, my friend, she was driving the Buffalo STX, which is one of the more popular ones, and I told her to try to avoid me. I hate the Oppressor Mark II, but I'm just only showing you guys this, that the Oppressor Mark IIs cannot lock on the vehicle. So you guys see my player targeting is everywhere. Everyone, I still can't lock onto this. And even when I try to hit her directly a few times, I can never get those 12 missiles onto her and make her car explode, because the Oppressor Mark II is 20 missiles in total, and you're going to need to hit them 12 times directly in order to actually blow it up. So it's a very effective vehicle to actually drive around and be safe from Oppressor Mark IIs. Also on top of that, they all have proximity mines with Slick, which isn't that helpful, but it's an extra addition on it. Most of them take around 4 RPGs, except for the Omnis. Now the Omnis, for some reason, I don't know whether it's a glitch or not, can actually take 12 RPGs. I don't know why that's the case, so make sure you keep that in mind. I have all of them on the screen up here, so I'm running around the cars, and you guys see Inus Jubilee, Inus Deity, Bachi Champion, Bravado Buffalo SDX, Bravado Greenwood, Obey Omnis, the Classy Ranger 3600 LX, and the Mount of Patriot Mil-Spec. So have one of these vehicles that's like one of your go-to vehicles. You can drive around the map normally, because I'm telling you, if an Oppressor Mark II Reaper comes after you, they're going to have a really hard time killing you. Like, you're going to have plenty of time to escape. These vehicles are pretty agile, they're pretty fast, and they just can't lock on. You're going to get frustrated and move on to somebody else, mostly as a defensive vehicle. Some of these vehicles I forgot to mention, they also do have machine guns that you can mount in the front. I don't find those that helpful, but also keep that in mind. So missile lock-on jammer is the most helpful, and it's going to protect you from plenty of Oppressor Mark II vehicles. Moving on, we have the Pyro. Now the Pyro, I think, is personally the best jet in the game. I think it's that jet that everyone should own. Now the Pyro goes for a total price of $4,455,500, but you can get it for a trade price of $3,350,000 if you complete 33 source missions for the hangar. So the source missions hangar is now tripled. You'll make more money with that, and you will unlock a $1,100,000 discount on this jet. Now the only downside is that obviously you need a hangar, but you need a place to store it, so that's why you need a hangar for it. Now, this thing is extremely helpful, not just for hangar, but a lot of different situations, because with the Pyro, spawning for your attraction, then you gotta go to specific places. There are specific places it spawns, but it's the fastest jet in the game. Fastest jet in the game, definitely. And not only that, but it can hold 2 people. And not only is it the fastest jet in the game, but it's just so agile, it's so effective. Its homing missiles are infinite, so there's no cooldown on it, so you can just keep spamming homing missiles as much as you want. If you're a really good dogfighter with this, it doesn't have explosive cannons, but you can shoot down other planes really quickly if you are a good dogfighter. I know plenty of people, one of my friends, Riley, she has, the GTA channel, and on her channel, she likes to fly a lot of aircraft. She uses the Pyro. I'll link that channel down below. But she and other people use the Pyro a lot of times to take down Reapers and, shoot down other air vehicles during missions. It's very helpful. It's such an agile aircraft that I can pick up crates in the air, no problem, turn around, fly to my hangar, and then fly back and try to get another crate. It's the fastest plane jet in the game. I did test this a long time ago. 5 years ago, I did a video, one of my older videos, in which I did speed test against all the other planes in the game. And I did a 3-mile race, a straight line. And in that 3-mile race, the Pyro had managed to get across 3 miles in 50.850 seconds. So this thing will get you across the map. It'll get to the bottom of the map to Toledo Bay in no time, really quick. So its speed, its agility, but also its landing. Now the Pyro is not as good as the Molotov. The Molotov is the best jet for landing, but it's still not a bad aircraft for landing. And if you get good with the Pyro, you can pretty much land in a lot of ridiculous places, small places. And it is really a bit of a wide aircraft, so you gotta be careful with that, but I do think it's worth it. The speed alone, 2 people, the agility, the weapons on it, definitely worth it. Every pilot, everyone who's interested in aviation, get this. And like I said, with the hangar boost, this aircraft is going to help you out so much on hangar resupply missions. For number 2, I have the Sparrow, and it costs $1,815,000. There is no trade price, and the downside of this aircraft is that you need a Kasatka submarine. It costs $2,000, but then you can buy the Sparrow, which is honestly the best vehicles for GTA Online. Now, I talked about this in my video 3 years ago, my 2021 video. video, but I really think that this is a vehicle that not only everyone should have, but it's one of the best vehicles of all time ever added to the game. Why? Terra is a great helicopter. Now, I personally think it's much better than the Buzzard. I know some people are going to disagree with me. And the reason for that is a few reasons why I think it's better than the Buzzard. The first one is agility. This thing is way more agile than the Buzzard. The second thing is speed. Much more faster than the Buzzard. The third thing is the missiles. The missiles aren't on the steroid. These missiles are infinite. There's no cooldown. Where on the Buzzard, it's a few seconds of cooldown after you fire each missile. Each missile has a few seconds cooldown. This thing is just spamming missile. The downside of this aircraft is it doesn't have great armor, and it only has missiles. It doesn't have machine guns. Where the Buzzard can hold 4 people, this thing can hold 2. However, though, there's another plus side that a lot of people overlook, and that is that this thing can be spawned from the interaction that you will spawn really close to you, like a block away. Now, I know some people are going to say the Buzzard can do that as well. However, though, think about it this way. When you are in a 30-player lobby, you're in a public session, there's oftentimes people that are CEOs, max MCs, and because of that, you can't form a CEO, so you can't spawn this. This thing, you don't need to be a CEO or an MC. You can spawn this regardless. So even if you're in a full lobby and it's max CEOs, you can still spawn this thing. On top of that, because you can use this thing outside of CEOs and MCs, you don't have to worry about getting rated, so you don't have to worry about having an MC or a CEO open in order to use this in this aircraft. That's why it's so good. And when it comes to the heist itself, Cayo Perico, this thing is so useful for Cayo Perico. You can get Cayo Perico done in under an hour if you use this helicopter. And while you can't use it on the heist finale, I'm talking about the free mode prep missions. To get everything done, all the prep missions plus the finale, yes, you can do this in an hour and use the Sparrow. I'll have a video link down below of when I did Cayo Perico in an hour, you know, many months ago. But this vehicle helps out Cayo Perico so much. You can get all the activities done, you can collect everything, get it back to your submarine, take out enemies, useful for combat. I also find it useful for fighting other players. Against the Mark II is probably going to destroy you. However, though, fighting other aircraft, other helicopters especially, because of the agility of this thing, and the infinite homing launchers, yeah, it has a good advantage. So it's a helicopter everyone should pick up and everyone should have. Very useful, one of my favorite all-time vehicles. Before I reveal my #1 vehicle that I think everyone should own in 2023, I want to make a special mention, and that is the Savage. Savage is one of the oldest vehicles in this game. It's been in this game for over 7 years, ever since the original heist back in March of 2015. But this is a helicopter that still a lot of people don't own, and I very rarely actually see this helicopter around. But this helicopter is very useful for missions and even for PvP. If you're fighting, other helicopters, you get close to them. It's the only helicopter really with an explosive cannon, and it fires very fast, it's very deadly, it can clear anything out in your path very fast, unlimited, homing missiles, no cooldowns on that, very effective helicopter, can carry 4 people, the downside of it is obviously
get there from anywhere else, hit a front a lot later and get a t-shirt.
And it's me not is going to be more useful, because from my experience, this is the most useful vehicle for destroying acid labs. So you see somebody in an acid lab going around killing people, running them over, shooting AP pistols at them. This is the best way to get them out of it. The Savage. You catch up to them, use the explosive cannon. It's more effective than a Hydra or a laser at destroying an acid lab. And it's precisely for the reason that it's a helicopter, it can hover, and you can get pinpoint accuracy with that explosive gun, because the acid lab is one of the most armored vehicles in the game. Special mention #2 is the Molotov, which costs $4,788,000, but you can get it for a trade price of $3,600,000 if you actually complete 18 hangar missions. So complete the 18 hangar missions, you get a pretty significant discount on the plane. Still an expensive one, but I personally think the Molotov is worth it. Now, the Molotov isn't as good as the Pyro. The Pyro is more agile and faster, but the Molotov comes close. It's a very fast aircraft, and you can get across the map easily, and the reason that I like the Molotov a lot is because its size. Because it's smaller than the Pyro, it's extremely easy to land. Like, you can pretty much land the Molotov anywhere. Like you guys see it, I'm landing on top of Maze Bank, so if you want like a small jet that you can get across the map really quick, you can land pretty much anywhere. That's the Molotov. It also has regular machine guns that an air vehicle has, not explosive, but infinite homing missiles. If you want to use that, doesn't have the ability to Pyro, but has great speed and also the ability to pretty much land anywhere really easily. You have to really stupid or irrational. And #1 vehicle that I think everyone should own, it is the Dump. No, I'm just joking, it's not the Dump. It is the Acid Lab. Mobile Asset Lab. This is one of the best vehicles that has ever been added to GTA Online. The reason that this vehicle is such a great vehicle is it has
What's
so
wrong
many
with her
features.
now?
Not only is it a tough armored machine, this thing is one of the most armored vehicles in the game. It can take 48 RPGs, and even a vehicle like
any
the
problems?
Savage
You bring her back to me.
struggles to destroy this thing, but it can still destroy it the fastest way possible. This thing is armored, it has a crazy ram, it can ram through anything in your path. It's not like the Pounder Custom at all, where the Pounder Custom has a similar ram, but the Pounder Custom gets stuck on stuff constantly. This thing will just smash stuff out of the way. Very similar to the Phantom Wedge, nothing is going to get in its way. It's very fast, it doesn't have the greatest handling, but most importantly, what this is this vehicle has the ability to use cops, any wanted level. Even if you have 5 stars, you get right inside, you will lose 1 level similar to the MOC and the Avenger and the Terabyte. Most importantly, and this is the best part, it is the first business that's in a mobile vehicle. It really is. There have been vehicles that were provided through businesses in the past, don't get me wrong, but this is the first time that we actually have a business on the wheels. So we can just spawn this thing. We go right inside, we resupply, or we can call up Mutt, he'll buy supplies, have it delivered. We can have supplies delivered to us within 10 minutes, and then we can boost the acid in 3 hours. This thing will produce over $360,000 worth of product. We sell it in a populated lobby, we get a free bonus, we get an extra $170,000 back.
Just
we
give
get
me a
over
few.
$500,000 for this. And you can do this every 3 hours, and then afterwards you can do it every 4 hours. So you can sell this thing every day, no problem, and you really don't have to do much. The
Okay,
sell missions
how about we
aren't
do the
even
right
really
thing
that
for
hard.
once and
Most
fuck
of them
up
are
Big
pretty easy.
Pharma?
Even the Paperboy mission, which is considered the hardest mission, that's still way easier than some of the other MC missions, MC delivery missions. That's it.
I take it this isn't a social... Got it. And how much? All right, I'm on it.
You calling for some wheels? I'm Johnny on the spot. I'll hook you up. I'll bring it to you.
Love it. Fucking shit. I know it's a crash because fucking Social Club is known.
It's the Acid Lab. Very useful vehicle. Everyone should own this thing. And a lot of people are saying this business isn't that great. It is a great business. You just have to complete the annoying Dax missions. But once you complete those Dax Fooligan missions, this thing will be ready to go. You'll start making a lot of money from missions.
Animals can give consent. They can indeed.
Twitter is the most miserable place on the planet. It'd be more fun to live in an active war zone than it would be to spend an hour on Twitter.
At the end of all of this, when you're attracted to kids, the next phase from bots goes into performing the actual crime.
It's a community of people that just love to hate, and that's all they like to do.
The story of Twitter is one of the most toxic platforms on the internet. Arguments, fights, cancellations, they happen every single day. But why? Why does this platform have such a big problem with toxicity? Well, what if I told you that Twitter has always been toxic since the very beginning because Twitter was built on betrayal? This is Noah Glass, a guy you probably have never heard of, and it's a shame because he started Twitter. Way back in 2005, Noah ran a podcasting platform called Odeo with his friend Evan Williams as CEO. The company was on the verge of shutting down, so they needed an idea. Noah spent a night out drinking with an employee, Jack Dorsey, and that's when they had the idea, Twitter.
Twitter is a social texting service based on the contents of your mind. It works with your cell phone and short code 40404, and it then goes to each and every one of your many, many actionable friends.
People didn't like the idea at first, but Noah pushed on. Soon, Twitter started to gain a huge user base, and Noah even considered breaking away from Odeo and making Twitter his own business. And then, without warning, Evan made Noah's life flip upside down. Evan pulled Noah to one side and told him he was fine. Everything he had built, from Odeo to Twitter, was pulled out from underneath. Sad, Noah spent the night out with Jack Dorsey and told him what had happened. Jack comforted him, but just a few days later, Jack became the CEO of Twitter. Jack betrayed Noah. Before Noah was fired, Jack met with Evan in secret, and Jack himself demanded that Noah be fired. He even threatened to leave the company if Noah was not removed. Noah described the betrayal in his own words. I felt betrayed by my friends, by my company, by these people around me I trusted, and that I had worked hard to create something with. And I was a little shell-shocked. I was like, wait, what's the value in building these relationships if this is the result? Jack's reason for this was never explained, so we can only assume that he gave into life's biggest evils, money and power. He was second in command in Twitter, so with Noah gone, he'd have everything, and Noah would have nothing. Noah's story tells us so much about Twitter. The Twitter has had toxic roots from day one. And as you'll see in this next chapter, Twitter's users are no different. Space buns. It's almost become a meme at this point, just how awful Twitter is. Arguments happen over anything and everything, and sometimes people just spark things for no good reason. This is a crazy example. In November of 2020, a Twitter user posted a picture from their game, Animal Crossing. And I want to emphasize that this game focuses on positivity, friendship, and community. This image somehow sparked madness on Twitter, and it's because of the hairstyle. This user was bombarded with angry replies and even threatening ones. Ma'am, they're not space buns, they're Afro Puffs, and they're meant for black girls. Us white girls cannot use them, so I advise you to change them before it's too late. Another user replied with, too late? Until what happens? And they replied, till others cancel her and put her name out there. People are threatening to expose this person's personal information over some pixels on a screen. Again, in August of 2022, a YouTuber by the name of Hero High posted a video about the story goes that a group of adult Twitter users gathered together to pressure a child because of a tweet she's made. The screenshots show details of how they planned to ruin her life. Their justification for this was that they claimed the child had posted problematic media. These group of grown adults chose to sacrifice a child's safety over something she said over the internet. So why does Twitter's platform continue to stay toxic? The false rumor. In an article posted on InGear, the author Richard Herbert lists some of the key reasons why Twitter is so toxic. One of these reasons is the spread of false information. Richard writes that fake news spreads at about a 70% higher rate than accurate information. And people seem to respond more to false information because it's designed to upset people. Twitter is a hotspot for false information because the platform allows it to be shared by thousands of people within a matter of minutes, including the strangest story I've ever heard. Welcome to Bodegraven Rewitched, a town in the western Netherlands. It's quiet, peaceful, and pretty, but then the town was attacked online. In 2020, a man by the name of Joost Evil started to spread rumors about the town's history. He claimed that in the 80s, the town was haunted by a cult that kidnapped children for their disgusting ceremonies. The stories were false, but that didn't matter. Twitter was flooded with people who genuinely believed it, so they shared the story over and over. Joost gave the names of several Bodegraven residents who he claimed were part of the cult, and people harassed those residents without mercy. Phone calls, letters, and death threats wouldn't stop. Joost was forced to remove his fake tweets, but it was time. The rumors became so real that people were traveling to the town to lay flowers in remembrance, but also leave threatening messages for the relatives of the deceased children. The town became so desperate to stop this hate, they took Twitter to court to have them remove the rumors from the platform. It just goes to show how easily false information spreads on Twitter. But these aren't the only things that make Twitter toxic. Minecraft Twitter. If you don't know what a stan is, here's a brief explanation. Stan is the combination of stalker and fan. It's when someone's online life revolves around a certain public figure or character. They obsess over this person constantly and sometimes even worship their idols. And stans are mostly children. Welcome to Minecraft Twitter. This community is one of the most obsessed groups of people on the internet.
There's entire pages dedicated to just keeping track of what Minecraft YouTubers are listening to on Spotify at all hours of the day.
And while they worship these people so much, they can turn against them too. And that became clear when they went after TommyInnit, one of the biggest Minecraft YouTubers on the platform. In 2021, he was attacked by the Minecraft community for two ridiculous reasons. First, Tommy posted a tweet making a joke about another content creator, JSchlatt. For those of you who don't know him, JSchlatt is a controversial creator within the Minecraft community. You either love him or hate him. The stans reacted badly to this one tweet from Tommy, taking it so far as creating a hashtag, TommyNeg, which stands for Tommy Negative, in order to spread hate.
Merryweather Security, with another classic private militia cover play. They have what we're after, but they're masking their whereabouts with signal jammers. You take out the transmitters, find the location, and you bring the cargo to the hangar.
But of course, the stans on Twitter didn't see that.
The chat was constantly calling him homophobic, questioning why he was politically active, and that his responsibility to be a political activist.
It became so bad that Tommy revealed that he was seeking therapy for the bullying he received online. The comments just kept on coming. I don't care if you're feeling overwhelmed. You are privileged and face no type of oppression, but still continue to victimize yourself instead of holding yourself accountable and apologize. TommyInnit was driven off the platform by these crazy kids, and the unfortunate part was that Tommy was just 17 at the time. Since then, Tommy's making content again and returned to Twitter. But unlike Tommy, there are other Twitter users that actually do horrible things. Strawberry Milk. The art community on Twitter is actually one of the nicer sides of the platform. Artists come together and showcase their work for feedback, advice, and just enjoy each other's masterpieces. But even in the nicest parts of Twitter, there are bad people. In mid-2020, a Twitter user by the name of Strawberry Milk started to get a lot of attention, and it wasn't positive. Strawberry drew incredibly inappropriate content, but the catch? It included children. You heard me right. She featured kids and sold it to the public for a profit, a literal distribution of images. For excuse, she calls it trauma art. Trauma art is a form of therapeutic treatment when other forms of therapy aren't enough. It's heavily monitored by a licensed therapist and is an extremely private and personal thing and not something you sell online. Strawberry also published a webcomic that's supposedly based on the trauma she went through, but there's still no excuse for the contents within it. It's sickening. But Strawberry had even more secrets she was hiding. Not only were some of Strawberry's tweets questionable, but some of the accounts that Strawberry supported were even worse. She frequently liked suspicious, disgusting tweets and followed questionable accounts. People defended her vile actions and also labeled her content as trauma art. The YouTuber Miss ZZ made a personal statement about the situation.
In that case, hello, I'm a child abuse survivor. Her art is being gross, and labeling Clear Start as trauma art is disgusting.
When researching for this video, I couldn't find any trace of Strawberry's account on Twitter. Not only was her account banned, but a user took her username to create a hate page dedicated to Strawberry. Hopefully this marks the end to Strawberry's insanity, but there are still thousands like her on Twitter. Mega links. There's an infinite amount of hashtags all over Twitter. There's one for anything and everything, for better or worse. But there's one hashtag that's been used for awful purposes that Twitter still hasn't acted against. Megalinks. Mega is a popular cloud storage service. What it does is allow you to store your files and completely encrypts them, meaning that not even Mega can see what you store on them. And despite the platform's good intentions, it's being used by terrible people. People are storing disgusting images and videos on Mega, and once it's stored, they start to trade them on Twitter. They create burner Twitter accounts, which are fake accounts, and use the hashtag Megalinks as a way of finding other traders on the platform.
So they create these accounts to distribute this disgusting garbage, and they get banned, and nothing happens for it because it's literally just a dummy account.
Some of these accounts even specify what they want. Just look at some of the related searches that Twitter recommends connected to Megalinks. It's horrible. What's worse is that this video was done in 2020, but it's still happening today. While writing the script for this video, we were able to find a post that was tweeted just 15 minutes earlier. This is still a huge problem on Twitter. These people don't even hide what they're after. And even if Twitter bans their accounts, they'll just make new ones and these twisted trades will carry on. And I just hope Twitter does something soon. Zoo. In our Discord video, we scratched the surface of Zoo when we talked about Hypnotist Sappho, a notorious member of this community. But this problem is so much bigger than you can imagine because Twitter is full of zoos. A zoo is a person who believes they're attracted to animals rather than humans. They endorse actions with animals and genuinely believe that what they're doing is okay. And it started on Twitter. In 2020, the hashtag ZooPride began to appear across Twitter. What followed was a slew of disgusting tweets from zoos defending their actions in an attempt to normalize them. They even created a flag for themselves in an attempt to mimic the LGBT community. Their delusions went as far as believing that animals had the ability to consent. I don't need to tell you how horrible that is, so I'll tell you a story instead. Kiro the Wolf is a content creator on YouTube. For a while, Kiro was a respected figure of the furry community and was an inspiration for many. But then, everything changed. It was revealed that Kiro was part of a sadistic zoo chat room that shared pictures, videos, and advice on how to end the lives of animals. Some of these videos are so bad that I can't even begin to describe them. This is the kind of behavior the zoos on Twitter are trying to defend, and we can't let them get away with it. The troll movement. Preds are all over the internet, and there's no avoiding that fact. They'll continue to fulfill their selfish desires no matter how hard we fight back. But what happens when they stop hiding? That's right, zoos aren't the only disgusting community on Twitter. There's one that's even worse. It's full of Preds that call themselves MAPS, which stands for Attracted Person. These advocates, much like the zoos, took to Twitter in 2020 in an attempt to normalize their fantasies. They sank so low as to pretend that a deceased content creator supported their beliefs.
Annika from Annika Network supports Pat Wright. Literally isn't someone that passed away.
Thankfully, people fought back and made it clear that these people are not welcome on Twitter. It caused an outrage across social media. Countless YouTube videos were made about it, but one video in particular found its origins. In July of 2020, the YouTube channel Some Ordinary Gamers posted a video about the map situation. In the video, Mutahar discovered a post on 4chan made in 2016 that could have been the origins of this movement.
We're creating a new gender to troll SJWs with. Clover gender, a child trapped in a man's body who is attracted to other children.
This shows that the movement itself is fake. These beliefs were created on 4chan to troll people.
There is no movement. There is none of this. Okay, you literally started off on a trolling attempt from 4chan.
Thankfully, Twitter took a stand against this and updated their terms of service. They stated that they have zero tolerance for this kind of behavior. It sounds promising, but the accounts are still out there. The hashtag is still active on Twitter to this day, and while most of the tweets are people making fun of and fighting against maps, these monsters are still roaming Twitter. I sued Twitter. The story is heartbreaking. Supposedly, a young teen found himself in a long-distance relationship with another teen. They had been dating for months before the boy sent an inappropriate video of himself, and that's when the mask came off. This boy had actually been talking to a trafficker the entire time. They blackmailed him into sending more pictures, and if he didn't comply, that video would be sent to his friends and family. He was terrified, so he complied. He eventually blocked the trafficker, and the terror stopped for some time, until 2019. The videos of the boy had surfaced on Twitter. According to the New York Post, the videos were reported to Twitter at least 3 times, and each time Twitter did nothing.
Allegedly, Twitter sent them this response. We reviewed the content, didn't find a violation in our policies.
Twitter looked over the videos and saw no problem with them. The video supposedly had 167,000 views and 2,200 retweets. How could Twitter let this happen? The boy and his parents took legal action against Twitter, even involving the FBI, who demanded that Twitter remove the videos from the platform. Only then did Twitter comply. Twitter initially declined to comment, but eventually decided to say this. Our teams work to stay ahead, to ensure we're doing everything we can to remove content and protect children from harm, and I hope they truly mean it. Twitter's darkest side. We covered some of the worst corners of Twitter in this video, and with these topics, there's been one thing that's consistent. They almost always involve adults. But what happens when it's only teens involved? When researching for this video, we discovered probably the worst community on Twitter. We found Twitter's darkest side. In September of 2020, a YouTuber by the name of Brittany Venti posted a video. In the video, she discovered the hashtag NSFWTWT. Of course, you'll find inappropriate content. But that's when Brittany made a stunning discovery. Many of the users using the hashtag were under adult age. These kids post risky pictures and reveal personal information about themselves. What's worse is that they're searching for other kids to trade pictures of themselves with. It's pretty much a racket. I don't need to tell you just how dangerous something like this is. How preds could easily disguise themselves and get pictures of these children. And kids being kids, they just don't listen.
But they will respond by lashing out on you, or being in denial that there's predators out there.
These kids have been brainwashed into believing what they're doing is okay. The bottom line is, it's heartbreaking. These kids are confused and trying to find themselves. But Twitter is not a place for it, because Twitter isn't a playground. It's a film set. Everything you do is being watched by an unimaginable amount of people. And it's not only being recorded, but it will be there forever. On Twitter, you have 280 characters to make a point. So make sure you choose your words carefully. Visual Venture. Wait, before you go, click this playlist right here to watch more dark internet documentaries, because the algorithm needs to know that you guys watch all of my videos. If you're a talented scriptwriter or video editor and want to join my team, click the link in the description to apply.
advised we have new players in town. This.
Good find, Hank. Make you deputy hall monitor in no time.
You lost your partner today when his locker got taken. Emilio?
The cargo's in the cargo bay.
Emilio's going
That's
to
what it's for.
suspension. The principal took all your sugar, the lab. We got nothing. Square one. But you know the business. And I know the chemistry.
You wanna cook bubblegum?
I got this one. A chopper carrying what we're looking for just went down. All you need to do is find it and pick up the cargo.
A 12-year-old boy is on life support after his parents say he may have tried a social media challenge.
We wake up to the same reality and the same nightmare that Jessica and Lilia are gone.
Imagine hundreds of thousands of kids around the world doing this. 40,000 likes. Like, what the f happened to humanity?
TikTok. You'll find everything from cute animal videos to activists fighting for a cause. TikTok isn't like any other social media platform because it has a unique algorithm. It uses machine learning to create a personalized feed specifically for you. The majority of TikToks are created by average people just like you and me. You guys remember Kabi Lame, a machine operator who got laid off to become the second most followed TikToker of all time. On the surface, this seems incredible, but we need to dig a bit deeper on how TikTok first got started. TikTok isn't your typical entrepreneurial startup story. They didn't start as a couple of friends in their mom's basement. The app started its life as 3 different apps. The first was an app called Musical.ly, which launched in China in 2014. And in 2016, a Chinese tech giant called ByteDance launched the app Douyin, which attracted 100 million users in only 1 year. ByteDance knew they were onto something massive. So in 2018, ByteDance expanded by buying Musical.ly and rebranded into the behemoth we know today, TikTok. It was business as usual, but there's some information from an inside source that says it's anything but usual. This TikTok recruiter decided to stay anonymous in fear of being punished. She explained to CNBC that her work hours were supposed to be from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., but she found herself always working double shifts. Why? Well, the company's Chinese executives are very involved in TikTok. They expect California employees to be available to work all hours of the day. This employee, along with 4 others, told CNBC they had another concern about their Chinese parent company, ByteDance.
Chinese employees have access to American user data, which runs pretty contrary to what we've heard thus far from the company.
They admitted that ByteDance employees were able to access U.S. data. This was confirmed when an American TikTok employee needed to compile a list of TikTok users from around the world. They reached out to the data team in China to access this list, and they were shocked. TikTok's data team sent back user data that contained way too much personal information that TikTok had about those people. And we don't know if that information is safe because it even states in their privacy policy, we may share all the information we collect for the parent of our corporate group, which is ByteDance. This issue was so real that US government officials and their family members weren't even allowed to download TikTok.
That's precisely what TikTok is. It has 100 million US users. It collects all of that information and more.
But even if TikTok decides not to do anything bad with your data, ByteDance is a Chinese company, and they're subject to Chinese law, which says that whenever the government asks for data from a company, they must hand it over. Cybersecurity experts spoke with CNBC about another risk working with China. The Chinese government could influence the thinking of Americans who use TikTok. This would come from videos that China wants to show Americans, even if it's propaganda, and they can censor content too. In 2019, TikTok moderators were told to censor videos that mentioned Tiananmen Square, which was a massacre where Chinese military fired at protesters, leaving thousands lifeless. And in 2020, TikTok's director of public policy admitted that the app censored content that was related to forced Muslim labor
I don't know about
in China.
you, but my main
Anytime the
takeaway
Chinese
from the
government
last
has
75
control
years
over
of
a platform
American
like
history
TikTok,
is,
it gives
if you
them the
want
power
something,
to feed our
you keep
mind what
bombing
we should
until
think
you
about,
get it,
what we
and you
consider
pay no
true,
mind to the
and what is
consequences.
false. The reality
Now, with
is,
that in mind,
TikTok doesn't
you're
care
taking a
about you.
bomber and
In
taking out a
2019,
trash
a
haulage
Brazilian
network
vlogger by the
being
name of
used to
Joao
move
filmed a live
cargo,
stream on
and then
TikTok.
picking
The day
up the goods
before,
when
he
you
issued
find
a
them.
warning to his fans that he was planning a special performance. With 280 people glued to his live stream, the young vlogger ended his life. The video was up for almost 2 hours after the incident. TikTok's Brazil office found out and took the video down, but TikTok waited 3 hours before contacting the police. So what were they doing in those 3 hours? Well, TikTok officials gave orders to make sure that the story did not go viral. They decided to contact their PR team to create a condolence message. They also created a press statement in case the incident went viral. Only after all this, they finally called the police. You might not have even heard of the story because to this day, it practically had no TV coverage. I mean, it's pretty clear from the beginning that TikTok never put us first. With millions of dollars in funding and employees practically working 24/7, they were able to tap into the psychology of the human brain like no app has ever done in history. And this next chapter is gonna blow your mind because I'm gonna show you just how TikTok knows you better than you know yourself.
TikTok actually told its moderators to suppress posts made by ugly and poor people so they wouldn't get as many views.
So biometric mirror, for instance, is trained by way of artificial intelligence to distinguish how intelligent you are, how attractive, how weird, how responsible, and how emotionally unstable you are.
I think we can all agree. Social media is addicting. What do you do when you hear a notification on Discord? Your focus shifts to the sound and you just have to check out what it is. What about scrolling through meme pages on Instagram? Do you have the willpower to look at just one photo? What about posting a tweet? A lot of times we get the urge to speak our mind. According to a Harvard study, sharing information about yourself on social media lights up the same part of your brain that addictive substances do. Your dopamine levels, which are responsible for pleasure, rises. So this is basically how social media affects your brain. But TikTok takes it to a whole new level. With 800 million users active each month, it's the fastest growing social media platform in the world. And leaked information shows that users spend about 1.5 hours on it every day.
No, it's like 8 p.m. and I'm watching, and then I look up at like, what? And it's 2 a.m. And I'm like, where the heck did those hours go?
It's the most addictive app. I could stop myself going off Twitter. TikTok is just easy to get addicted to. It's just content. You never know what's going to come up. It's just something new every time.
So why is TikTok so addicting? Bloomberg business reporter Shelly Banjo gave us an inside look on ByteDance's work culture. She said that employees are working from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. But in reality, it's more like a 24-hour work culture because you're expected to answer all the time. It's normal for people to get so burned out because they can't take the workload, so they leave. The time and effort TikTok takes into crafting the algorithm is unlike any other platform. Other apps like Instagram prioritize showing you photos of people who you follow. But on TikTok, recommendations come first. As soon as you hop on the app, you're hit with an infinite viewing experience of videos you never chose to watch.
It just suggests you things. You just click, it keeps learning you based on what you click on, and then you keep clicking, keep feeding them more information about the type of person you are, and it just becomes so smart that it figures out what you do.
TikTok is designed to figure out what you like. A girl named Lauren Hemmings was bored at home, so she decided to download TikTok. She wanted to create an account for fun.
I never had the intention of making TikToks or sharing them. It was more just kind of for the reason.
She started following a fitness influencer who was losing weight. TikTok's algorithm picked up on that and began flooding her feed with weight loss videos.
TikTok pushed Lauren toward the popular trend of meticulously tracking how many calories she eats in a day.
What started off as a healthy habit eventually turned into a serious
phone. I felt that I could not eat without knowing how many calories it contained.
It came to the point where she couldn't put anything in her mouth when she would weigh. And 4 months later, Lauren finally admitted that she had an eating disorder. The algorithm caught on to her interests and satisfied her cravings for that type of content. TikTok seems to know you more than you know yourself. As soon as you sign up, it starts collecting data. It finds out everything about you, from your location to your age to your gender. But here's where things get crazy. TikTok also collects biometric data. In other words, your face. In 2021, there was a change in TikTok's policy that says it may collect biometric identifiers and information from its users.
Your face is a form of biometric information, and your face can be analyzed to distinguish a range of personality and demographic traits.
TikTok collects this data every time you create a video or use a filter. And it can even collect data from the photos saved on your phone, even if you aren't using the app. They use artificial intelligence to create a profile for you.
So biometric mirror, for instance, is trained by way of artificial intelligence to distinguish how intelligent you are, how attractive, how weird, how responsible, and how emotionally unstable you are.
It can even tell if you're going through an emotionally difficult time just from looking at your face. I mean, it's wild.
You might be presented with videos that are created by users with going through a similar challenge at that time.
And most of the time, this can sink you even deeper into depression. But as long as your eyes are glued to the screen, that's all that matters to the company. TikTok doesn't care. There have been reports that TikTok is actually spying on people. After the iOS 14 update, Apple caught TikTok secretly accessing the clipboard on people's phones. Apple talked to TikTok about the issue, and they gave the excuse that they did this to identify spammy behavior. But they said that they were going to remove this feature to eliminate any confusion. In other words, they were caught, so they needed to fix it ASAP. This next point is only a theory, but a lot of people seem to have experiences like this. People are saying that TikTok is listening to their conversations. A Reddit user even showed a picture of TikTok using their microphone, even if they weren't recording anything. Tunde also experienced something similar.
I was scrolling on TikTok recently. My first 5 minutes on there, I ran across this video, and it was the exact thing I was talking to my friend about, like a day before.
Again, it's just a theory, but this next point isn't. In 2020, the news outlet The Intercept leaked moderation policies for TikTok staff. In these documents, TikTok's moderators were told to avoid promoting posts from people with abnormal body shape, chubby, have obvious beer belly, obese, or too thin. They also targeted ugly facial looks. This includes anything from having a lack of front teeth, obvious facial scars, and even old people with too many wrinkles. They went as far as to stop the promotion of posts if the background wasn't up to their standards. Slums, cracks on the walls, and a messy environment. TikTok avoided showing things that were less fancy and less appealing so that they can bring in more users. I mean, this is crazy. TikTok stated that these guidelines are no longer
Cargo
implemented.
delivered. Look at us running like clockwork.
I mean, I can see that, right? Because the majority of TikTokers are like either attractive or they don't have these deformities like the guidelines say. But the worst part of all this is that the majority of TikTokers are underage.
I saw you from like across the street. I think you're really pretty.
Okay, you're using a seaplane for this one. Fly out to a wrecked vessel off the coast. Take out the salvage crew, then dive for the cargo yourself. Now, you'll need rebreathers for that. If we don't get this stuff, the globalists will. And that's bad, okay?
Kids are obsessed with TikTok, but the problem is, kids aren't the only ones who can't keep away. A recent investigation found that children as young as 8 are being groomed on TikTok. For those of you who don't know what that means, it's when someone builds a trusting relationship with a child so they can manipulate them for their own desires. BBC interviewed a couple, Chris and Haley. They have a 10-year-old son who just recently downloaded TikTok. One day, Chris saw messages blowing up his son's phone.
I come home from work and obviously turned on the phone and looked at the messages, and then they were like, do not ignore me, I know who you are, we're swearing, I know who you are, and I'll come and get you.
Chris saw that messages were coming from TikTok, and when he clicked on the user sending them, He saw the photo of an adult man who checked his son's inbox and found 3 more messages sent by 3 different men. They deleted the app, but this whole situation affected their son.
We were sort of trying to give him a bit more freedom, sort of walking to school with his friends and walking home from school with his friends, and he won't do that now. He wants to be picked up all the time.
This is only one instance, and we haven't even touched the surface. I mean, if you're on TikTok, you've probably seen messages like these, or have even received some yourself. This is definitely a problem. The pred we're going to talk about is William Donald Haynes, aka the Buddha. He became a TikTok star by creating cringe videos. A ton of YouTubers reacted to his content, and I can see why. No one suspected anything bad, but then he started creating duet videos with young girls. A woman by the name of Liz had been collecting TikToks of creepy men and posting them on Instagram. So she posted videos of the Buddha, and one of her followers, who was 14, teamed up with her to find out if he really was creepy. He and this 14-year-old began DMing each other. At first, we were talking about my cosplays, and how he wanted to cosplay. But after she told him her age, William began sending some really creepy messages. He sent her dozens of videos shirtless, licking his lips and kissing the camera.
So obviously, for you to be able to message a 14-year-old girl, and not only that, you send kissy faces and all types of stupid gestures to the kid. I mean, something gotta be up with you.
After being exposed, more girls came forward saying that the Buddha had been sending them the same thing. And after TikTok caught on, he was finally banned. To my knowledge, he didn't do anything bad in real life. But there are other weirdos who use TikTok for more shocking reasons. You might have heard of Dan City, also known as the Downtown LA Threat. I referred to Nick Crowley's video. Dan would simply walk around Los Angeles, camera in hand, and take videos of him trying to pick up women. But he wouldn't do it respectfully.
I like you. When I saw you back there, I liked the way you look.
Almost all of these women were super uncomfortable, but Dan didn't seem to pick up on that because he just kept on creating videos.
I'm a nice guy. I'm not a predator. I'm a nice person. I didn't do anything wrong.
I mean, on the surface, you could tell this guy's a creep, but sometimes he shares his thoughts about women, and it's even more disturbing.
I really do feel like pretty much destroying these women when I haunt my reptilian brain, like literally feels like a cat.
But the worst part is that most of the women he recorded were not women, but young girls.
I like you. Happy New Year. What's your name? What's your name?
33-year-old Dan was caught and was registered as an offender. He moved out of Los Angeles for a bit, but word spread quickly that he was moving right back. I wonder why. A public warning was issued by the police that Dan was considered high risk to reoffend. And in February of 2021, his YouTube channel was deleted. So where does TikTok play a role in this? Well, Dan's story doesn't end with his channel gone. He went back to making videos, but this time on TikTok. And even after being caught, he still persists. exists in what he believes.
Everyone needs to get married, and to a virgin girl who's under.
He believes that men should marry girls at 14, stating that this is when they are most pure. But he's even a bigger threat because he's trying to build a community of like-minded people, aka kid lovers. His LinkedIn had the description, "I need help to build a Disneyland-like polygynous residential gated community. The community will emphasize teen marriage. It should be within Nevada because the age of consent is 16 there. It is the safest, healthiest, they are most..."
The cargo's in the cargo bay. That's what it's for. As you know. Because, of course, you put it there.